Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
Hey, everybody. How you doing out there today? Hopefully you're all doing all right. We're seeing if we're live. I don't know. Hopefully we're live. I'm not seeing it come up, but you never know. You never know what's happening in the book of face here. I see some of you are out there. Gary in the house. Thank you, Gary, for dropping by. Let me kill the live banner, which is over my face. That'll help. There we go. All right. Well, maybe it won't help. How you doing, people? Yeah, I'm trying to see here. There we go. Now we're showing. What's shaking, everybody? Hopefully you had a good weekend out there. Patrick Witt in the house. Thank you, Patrick, for being here. Just had a monitor failure. Everything fails. You know, this is all brand new stuff, and it fails like crazy. For some reason, my secondary monitor, which is bigger so I can see your comments and everything, just went away. Oh, the troubles of technology. Dirk Turner, how are you? Thanks for being here. Stephen Bell in the house. Great to see you over the weekend. Tell Stephanie hello. Hopefully you guys saw the pictures I posted of you earlier. What a great show. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. And yes, thank you, Patrick Witt, for telling me that live banner is still on the screen and now telling me it's gone. He's on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Patrick, for that. Heather Mattingly in the house. Hope you had a great show this past weekend down at Foley's. I'm sure Jimmy Kilroy was there to see you. He was. He's always in there checking it out. Yes, Rooster Fries in the house. I haven't forgotten you today. It's been one of those days trying to catch up on a Monday here, but we'll get with you for sure. Steve Short, thank you for dropping by. Marie Smith in the house. And Stephen Bell knows the feeling. Yeah, you were having a few things happen there too. It's, technology, ain't it great? It's wonderful. And then you don't even want to get me started on the Book of Face and all the changes and the fact you can't tag anybody anymore on a business page today. And I mean, oh my God. Tried to tag you guys in Don't Tell Steve about your pictures, but they just wouldn't let us do that today. It was, it's one of those days. Yes, it is one of those days. Hollywood in the house. How are you doing? All right. Kevin Cooper is here, host of the B&B Jam, and from the Hanky Panks and Eyes Up Here and Kevin Cooper Solo and all the other projects that he participates in. Good to have you with us. Fred King in the house. Thank you, Fred. Good to see you. All right. What else we got going on? Dave Worthington. Yes. What's shaking a couple of cheeks and chins? Well, when you get older, that's a fact. I got more chins than a Chinese phone book. I do. Don't take offense to that, people. That wasn't meant to be offensive. Yes. Wasn't meant to be offensive. Lou Morgan in the house. Stephanie Maples from Don't Tell Steve. The Stephanie Maples is here. She killed it Saturday night at Heather's. She did. Gary saw 3-Day Rules Saturday night, Riverside Marina. Thank you for that. Hello, Dirk Turner. And good to have you with us from Crying Out Loud in the house. Oh, yes. Robert saying perfect night for blues at the Century Inn. There you go. Rick Henderson has joined the party. Greetings to you. And Luann said, yes, she did. She did. That was a great show at Heather's. We'll talk about it in just a moment in our weekend update. But if you saw somebody play and you neglected to post it on our page today, thanks to the 50 or so people who did post who they saw play out. I think it's up to 50 or 60 comments now. Want to thank you so much for that. And I got to thank a lot of you for sharing the show on Thursday, man. Thursday's show, again, in the 3,000 range on views. We appreciate that. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys doing that and sharing and being part of our music community here and helping out the venues and the musicians who submit to us each week. And hopefully you went out and patronized those places, I hope. Yes. I hope. Who else we got here? Patrick Witt. He said, didn't see them, but listening to Missing November, heard them from your backyard sitting at the fire pit. Well, you missed a great show on Friday with Missing November. Dirk Turner says Mrs. all around town in the house. I must have missed that she's joining us. I think she's driving in the car. She's driving in her car. She was a bit tied to the chair over the weekend. So couldn't get out much, but I did get out a couple times to see some great music, and we're going to talk about that here. And again, thank you guys for sharing the show on Thursday, about 3,000 views. It's brought to you by Froggies in Monroe. They're the folks who sponsor that show and bring you the Who's Playing Out segment, make it possible for us to talk about all the local bands, venues, and events that are going on in the tri-state area. Rick Henderson said he saw the Standard Country Time at the Fort Laramie Festival. Said a good event. Okay. There you go, Rick. Thank you for that. I'm sure you saw him. Yes. Marie Smith. I don't know. I can't answer that question, Marie Smith, at all. Don't have a clue. Kara, how are you? What's going on, Kara? You doing all right? I hope so. I hope you're doing well today. All right, let's talk about it. It's what we call our weekend update. I almost said live at 5. That's our Thursday show. But our weekend update today, and if you saw somebody play out over the weekend, you want to give a shout out in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Also, I'm looking for your comments today. We talk a lot about music. Let's chat a little today, too, about your views on why you spend your hard-earned money to go out and see live music. What's live music do for you? Because so many people I see a lot of the same faces every week when I'm out and about. So I know that you're spending some dollars in these venues, and you're enjoying a night out on the town with some live entertainment. So if you have a reason, or if there's something that live music does for you, I'd like to hear it. Lou says it makes her happy. Well, makes me happy too. It does. And while we're doing that, I will talk about who we saw play out over the weekend and what we did over the weekend. And Hollywood says it's a high you can't explain. There you go. Thank you for that. And Dirk says support fellow musicians. One thing I really enjoy about live music is people watching. And don't take that in a creepy way, but I love to watch people having fun and enjoying their night and getting up and dancing and rocking to the music, whether they're dancing in their seats or up on the dance floor. It's just a cool thing to see. And when a band makes a connection with an audience, that's the magic. That's the magic. When you hear somebody, maybe they're doing a slow ballad and the room gets quiet and everybody listens, that's where it's happening. That's where that wild, the hairs stand up on your arms and those kind of things happen. So, that's a cool thing. Let's see what Rooster Fries had to say. Supporting live local music rocks. Yes, that's why they play local bands on their station. Rooster Fries. Throwing that one in there. Thank you so much for that. Heather Mattingly says live music can escape from the heavy, ugly stuff. Amen to that one, sister. I agree with you 100%. Lou said side piece at O'Leary's was awesome this past Friday. Thank you for that. And again, guys, we have a post on our page that was up today. It's pinned at the top of the page. So if you want to comment after the show on that post and give your local musician a shout out, if it'll let you tag them, it's letting individuals tag people, but it's not letting business pages tag today for some reason on the Book of Face. So if you can tag a venue or tag a band, that would be fantastic. So let's talk about, we took a night off on Thursday night. But Friday night, I will tell you that, and I missed the Bell and the Bear Jam. I missed the second anniversary of the Bell and the Bear Jam, and I'm sorry I had to miss that, but we did, and it looked like a fantastic time. I always live vicariously through Ed Sawicki's pictures, and he took some great ones again on Thursday night. The jam is just magical down there at the Bell and the Bear, and we're getting ready to kick off a big event on October 2nd. Let me give it a big shout out while I got you on here today. Shout out about the Bell and the Bear, October 2nd, Women Who Rock. And it's for a great cause. Look it up on the Bell and the Bear page, if you will. And Women Who Rock. Yes. Female singers from the entire tri-state area that'll be there, and some special surprises going on for that one. Going to be a huge event. That's all day. It's a fundraiser. So I'll get you more information on that as it gets closer, and we'll have some interviews on the page as well with some of the folks that are going to be playing that event. And that's going to be a cool thing. Hi, Bob Flanagan. Thank you for being here. Kara, I had your post up there, but I didn't see what you said. It says music helps with anxiety and her mood. There you go. Yeah, music puts you in a good mood. Hi, Mike. How are you? From the Whammies. Whammies in the house today. So let me talk about our Friday night for a minute. Friday night, pretty killer night. Had a chance to drop in to Heather's down in Springboro. Had to stay close to home. Said Mrs. Hall around town was spending a little time at home. So had to stay close to home to make sure she was doing okay. But I dropped in on Missing November down at Heather's. Missing November coming all the way up from southeastern Ohio. Brought their big trailer and motorhome up as they travel that way all the time. And man, they did a great job at Heather's. A good time was had by all. And, you know, they have a really hugely diverse set list. I mean, it's everywhere, but they get into some heavier rock stuff, which is fantastic. You know, Heidi singing lead is just fantastic. She's a good front person. And where else can you see a front woman in a band sing AC/DC's I've Got Big Balls? I mean, nowhere. Nowhere. That's unique. It is. And that was really cool. That was fun stuff. Hi, Pete. Thanks for dropping in. Hi, Ray Renee. Thank you for being here. Roberts says live music soothes the soul. Yes, it does. And Hollywood says last year's talent in the room was insane. I'm sure this year's event will not disappoint at the Bell and the Bear. No, it'll be off the hook. And some big special surprises there. If you go to the page, you might see something pop up on that. Women Who Rock. It's going to be a great time, and we're looking forward to that. And we're doing that on October 2nd. It's a Sunday, so you're going to be free. Come on to the Bell and the Bear. Help support the cause. And, yeah, Brian and Kelly Peters are also going to match all the donations that day. They did it again. They did it last year. They're doing it again. They're great people. Looking so forward to that one for sure. All right. Corn Stand Jam getting a shameless plug. Yeah, you know, Monique, I talked to her way back. She was going to come on the show and then never did hear back. So I don't know what's happening with that, but Monique was going to be on with us to talk about Corn Stand Jam, but I'll give you a shameless plug for it. That's Saturday the 24th, 1 to 11 p.m. River's Edge in Hamilton. It's a free event benefiting mental health awareness. So there's fireworks at the end of that show too. And Rooster Fries just posted that as well. So there you go. Thank you for that. And we're the question of the day as we're talking about our weekend in review, guys, is why do you go out and spend your hard-earned money seeing live music? What's it do for you? That's what I want to know. And we're getting a lot of great comments on that. Hi, Glenn, checking in on YouTube. You had a great weekend of music, I'm sure. Kara says music also brings people together. She's met so many nice people at concerts on the dance floor. There you go. That's a good one. It is. I don't know. You know, I don't know how you say that. Is it Ezel? Ezeal? I don't know the pronunciation. DJ Ease. I'll say that. DJ EZ says a DJ out of Springfield. See people dancing. It puts a smile on my face. There's nothing like the energy of being an entertainer, whether you're spinning music as a DJ or you're up there as a band member playing to the crowd. When you get good crowd response and interaction, that's when it hits you, and it's so much fun. It really is. And people love to do that. Once you get that in your bloodstream, it's hard to get it out, believe me. Because I've thought numerous times about giving up some of it and just taking it easy. But, you know, you'd miss that. You'd miss that rush you get when you get up there and entertain a crowd and do those kind of things. My man Shane DeMoss has joined the party. Shane made a little announcement today. I'm going to kind of break it on here if you haven't seen it, that they're going to take a little break come first of the year until Rust is. So you've got a couple months to catch some Until Rust shows. And I highly recommend that. If you haven't seen Until Rust, you've missed out. If you've seen Until Rust, you know what I'm saying. get out and see Rob and Shane. They are two stellar entertainers and just put on a wonderful, wonderful show every time they play. A lot of people follow them around town. They do. Yes. Stephen Bell says, but that teardown, though, I agree with that one. That's the worst part of the night. Setup's not so bad. You're excited about the show. Teardown sucks. It does. It does. Yes. And yes, Mike and I met each other watching music, and we'll meet each other again, I'm sure, many a time as we're out and about and when we cross paths. And any of you that are out there, if you ever run into us or you see us in one of these places, stop and say hi and say you watch the show. I'd love to connect faces with names, because often all I see is your name pop up in a comment or that you joined the show. And when you do that, it makes my day when I get a chance to actually see a face and put a face with the name here on the Book of Face or YouTube. And Patrick Witt, that was a great comment. Music is the universal language. Yes, it really is. And it's one of those things that for those of you that are frequent flyers to the music clubs, it's the diversity of the music, the changing entertainers, the way people have style and the way they deliver songs and all that. I love somebody that puts their own flair on a coverage song a little bit, makes it their own. That doesn't bother me at all. I mean, there are certain standards you probably shouldn't change, but for the most part, when people put a little bit of their own flair on a song, that's really cool to see. And recently I've seen a lot of good entertainers that do that. And you're welcome, Shane. And Shane's one of them. He puts his own flair on some of this stuff, but like Benny Bodine, the same way, who's out there doing a solo thing. David Thornton, I can name a ton of them who turn it into their song, and it's cool to see that. And that's part of what makes music good for me. And I'm reading Ray Renee's post here. Or her comment, I should say. Yeah, I mean, what do? You've got touch tunes on your phone now. If you've got that little app and you can go into a place, have a adult beverage and hit the touch tunes to your favorite song and play it. And, so we're really connected to music, and people you see working out at the gyms, they're all wearing their, earbuds and they're listening to music or podcasts or something. And music is really kind of something that soothes the soul, and kind of the entertainment world does the same in many ways. Where I draw the line is when people start getting political or crappy. I don't do that. So you switch it up and go to somewhere else. And unfortunately, many of our radio stations, XM especially, has gone to some of that. And I used to listen to a ton of XM radio, and there's very few now that I tune into. One of them's Eddie Trunk. I listen to religiously because I'm into like the old 80s metal and that kind of thing. But yeah, for the most part, it's become so damn political and stupid and divided. And I just like to go sit in a place, listen to music, and not have somebody preaching their views to me. I just want to hear their music. If the music's got lyrics that have some protest things in them or whatever, so be it. But that's just Scott's opinion only. Dewey Cole, thank you so much for that comment. Yes, when an artist puts their own stamp on, that's a good way of putting it. And yeah, you can play a song so many different ways. I joke about Truck playing Crazy for You by Madonna in a bluegrass version. It's so much fun, though. It's different. It's fun. It's entertaining. And those fellas, they're very lighthearted and fun as well. Live music motivates and inspires. Thank you, George Orr, for that one. I appreciate that. What's Rick got to say? Yes. And when it leaves the stage and comes back to you from the audience, you know that you've connected. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And, it's a good thing. And thanks for all these comments today, guys. As I'm talking here, I'm talking about Missing November down at Heather's. And I just want to say what an incredible show they did. It was their first time there. And I've got to say a little bit, Heidi was nervous about playing Heather's. Now, no reason to be nervous ever to play Heather's. It's a big venue. It's a nice venue. But the people that come there are music fans, and everybody there just loved their show. And like Patrick Witt said, he was listening on his patio. He could hear it from his house, and people were enjoying it. And Missing November, if you've never heard them, guys, they're a little more edgy. They play some good rock tunes, but they get in there and they make it happen, and they've got good musicianship. Bobby Sherman on guitar, he was rocking it out on Friday night. So that's some cool stuff. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you being here. You have a great week as well. All right. What's going on? Jerry Nimmersheim. Good to see you. Wendy Gullett. When do you go out and see a lot of music? What reason do you go see live music? I mean, people, like I said at the beginning of the show, people have many ways to spend money. I mean, you can go bowling, you could go see a movie, you can sit at home and watch Netflix. But so many people I know go out and see live local music. And why do you do that? What is the reason for that? If you're just joining the show, we'd like to hear your comment. What's it do for you? Besides make Jerry a server at Heather's when all the staff goes back to college. That's my joke of the shift. Yes. All right. And Roy says, or original music. And, I've never heard Roy play. I announce him on here. Sepia Heyday. I've never heard him play. Heard about him. Heard it's an ordeal, Roy. I have many times. But they're doing original stuff. And, we've had shows about original music, do you or don't you type shows. And a lot of the people are not huge followers of original music till it becomes a hit. And just remember, every song, at one point in its life was being played in a bar, probably by somebody sitting on a bar stool when they wrote that song or something, before they were ever huge superstars. I mean, once the band becomes a star and, Queen writes Bohemian Rhapsody or something, then that's a different story. But for the most part, most of these songs that you hear that make the hits of today become hits because somebody was sitting in a little corner of a bar playing to 6 people. That's what really happens. And yeah, Rooster Fry says they don't do anything political or religious, just great rock music and local bands and event info. Very good for you. Because, once you get political on me, whether you're a musician, a celebrity, or whatever, I hit the tune out button in my head. That is not what I'm looking for in music. I'm looking for entertainment and enjoyment and not controversy. Unless it's controversy for breakfast. And those guys are fantastic. They're a great time. Patrick Witt said everything Truck plays is better than the original version. And it is. And Jerry said they were amazing. We were talking about Missing November. And Heather's is a great venue. Wendy Gullett said Heather's is a wonderful venue. And it's a shame it can't be here year round. But, there's only so many warm months out of the year. And Heather milks it out as long as she can. Trust me. She gets those heaters in the tent and things like that to keep it going. But there's a few months out of the year she's just got to shut that stuff down and come back in the spring and make it happen again in the first week of May when we start Name That Tune trivia and kick off the patio season for her. And that's a great honor that I get to do that. Bill's got to say here, he said, Heavy Juice at Pullman Lanes in Hamilton Friday night. Scotty Bratcher at Land of Illusion. Glad to hear that one. Glad he's back playing with the band for sure. Wendy, because she likes to, what'd you say? You like to sing and dance. I can't see today. My big monitor went out. So I'm on this little screen on the computer here, guys. Sorry, I'm looking down a lot. Also, not looking at you, but that's just the way it works. And Wendy loves to sing and dance and just feel a part of something. Yeah, when you get to know a band or you follow a band so much and they come out on the break and recognize you in the crowd and thank you for being there, that means something too. And I always admire bands who work the crowd on their breaks and just don't go out and have a smoke in the parking lot and all those things. That's a mark of a good band as well. Somebody who interacts with their people. And we're not going to talk about Jerry's skills on the patio. Jerry's skills were rock star status. They were. And Facebook user, I'm throwing that in there. I don't know who that is today, which one. I've got several that pop up as Facebook users, but I'm looking at it here. Let me see if I can see on my regular screen who that might be. Ruckus Timothy Smith, but it shows up as a Facebook user here on my screen. I don't know if that means you haven't allowed StreamYard to come into your world yet. Probably your settings are set that way. Hey, Dave Wade from DV8, man, they've been rocking it. They played Oktoberfest this past weekend and killed it. They had a ton of people there. I don't know, I think it's like 400,000 or better or something. Insane. Absolutely insane. And let me see who's... I don't know who some of these people. I keep seeing these Facebook users pop up. They are. I don't get it. Another one that says, looking good, buddy. Thank you, whoever that is. Oh, that's Clark. Clark, I can see it on the iPad, but I can't see it on my screen. There we go. I'm going to keep your comments coming, guys, but I got to finish up what we got to see over the weekend. So let's fast forward to Saturday. I had the distinct honor of being able to announce 2 baseball games at Miracle Field. And Miracle Field is just south of Springboro, down near the Springboro Junior High. It's a field made of basically rubberized material, for lack of a better term. And it's a big baseball diamond, and it's a huge baseball diamond. Looks like a stadium almost, but the entire field made of this rubber material, which is safe for adults and children with disabilities to play baseball on. And they play these games, and it is so much fun. And I had the opportunity to announce those games, and what an honor that was. And it's so much fun because some of the kids, and you know, it takes the kids away from their parents for 5 minutes who work nonstop to care for these children. And they get a buddy assigned to them to go around the bases with them. And everybody gets a hit. Everybody, the last batter gets a home run and cleans the bases. It's just fun. Nobody keeps score. They have a great time. And some of the kids come up with nicknames. They'll come up to the announcer's table, and the one kid the other day wanted to be something. His name, AKA Michael Jordan, and those kind of things. Or one kid was the zombie or the vampire, and they were just so much fun as we got to announce over a big PA system their names and now batting and play some baseball music in the background. I had a blast doing it. So thank you to Miracle League and everything they do and all the volunteers. They had a huge mums sale going on at the same time in the parking lot where that's their big fundraiser every year. But this field is made possible through a bunch of donations. And one of our friends, Bill Tepe, who has contributed through the Michael's Believe Foundation, has contributed an immense amount of money to this. And the playground, which is attached to it, is all built to support kids with disabilities, and just a genuinely great time there. And that just started off my Saturday morning and afternoon. And then Saturday night buzzed on down again to Heather's. But I forgot one on Friday. I did. I got to back up before I get to Saturday. Forgot one on Friday, and that was Linus Tate. Got to see the tail end of their show at Mr. Burroughs Tavern. Alex Poteet and company. I mean, Linus Tate, great band, good time. If you haven't seen them play as well, they're another one to put on your must-do list. And they play all over the Cincinnati and Dayton area. So if you want to check them out, please do. Linus Tate, it's a unique, smooth blend of music, and everything they play, good harmonies, just easy listening stuff. And great to see him there. And thank you, Alex Poteet, for the shout out when I walked in. I don't deserve those kind of honors, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate you if you're watching. And that was Mr. Burroughs. Now on Saturday, don't tell Steve. I'm going to get into that here. I'm looking at a couple more comments. Kara said she'd never heard of Kevin McCoy Band until this show, and she thinks she's seen him 5 or 6 times. Well, thank you. See, that makes my day, Kara, because that's why we do this, to introduce new bands and people to you guys, and people you would have never known about otherwise. I've had a lot of people say that in the past, and I appreciate it, because that's why we do what we do, to introduce you to new people. And even the venues, they cross-pollinate now, and some of that they hear me mention a couple band names, and that we saw them play out, and they'll message me and say, well, how was that band? I want to book them. Well, book them, and that's how kind of Don't Tell Steve ended up at Heather's. And we kept telling Heather, you got to have this band. And even Mrs. Hall Around Town was in on that one. And they played again on Saturday night. And let me tell you, I posted earlier today with some pictures. Stephanie Maples was blowing the tent in the air with her vocals and absolutely killing it on Saturday night. And there's some things that Stephanie does that just, it wows me every time. But she is a true entertainer. There's a lot of singers, a lot of people who front bands that are singers, and they're fantastic. But it takes a lot to be a fantastic singer and an entertainer. And that girl knows how to work the room. I will say that. And and Patrick Witt, you're exactly right. Their diversity, Missing November's diversity it blew my mind, the different songs they were playing. I mean, Iron Maiden, I mean, AC/DC. I mean, it was a good rock show. It was a fantastic rock show. And what do we got here? A few more comments. Yes, Facebook's having that Facebook needs something. They do. It's terrible. And Wendy said that's awesome, Miracle Field. It's a cool place. It's an awesome place. This week they had the wrestlers from Springboro High School. There were the buddies, which were helping those with disabilities, and that's cool. And who's coming to Hidden Gem, Wendy? I didn't. The comments are so slow, I can't keep up with what's going on. But let me talk about Stephanie Maples for a minute. And I made a few notes the other night. I don't want to forget anything if I can on Stephanie. And then we're going to check out of here. We're about done with the show for the day. But I want to give a big shout out, first of all, to Stephanie's band who backs her up. They are great entertainers. And Wendy said Linus Tate. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Linus Tate, they play a lot around here. You can catch them in quite a few places. They've played Mr. Burroughs. They've played Heather's, so definitely want to catch Linus Tate for sure. And thank you, Bill. That Miracle Field is, and it's nothing. I just happened to kind of fall into this gig on Saturday because Greg, that normally does the announcing, I've helped them work on their sound system there some to tweak it and make it work well. But Greg, that normally does the announcing, was out of town, and I got kind of stepped into that. And to be honest with you, I do a lot of shows and I'm not ever nervous, but I was nervous for that one because, you think about all the things you have to do to make sure those kids have a great time when they're out there, and get the parents cheering for them and those kind of things. It was a nervous show for me the first few minutes of that announcing that game. And I'm not a play-by-play announcer either. So, I found myself saying, and another hit down the third baseline and those kind of things. So, you have to kind of spice it up a little bit, so to speak. Hi, Billy, if that's you from White Knuckle Weekend. Good to have you with us. And, Jerry Nimmersheim says it best right here. Stephanie is the true entertainer. Such an awesome band. They killed it on Saturday. Had a great crowd at Heather's. And one thing Stephanie did, somebody asked for them to play Hearts Alone, the song. And something got jumbled up and they didn't play it the first set or something. So Stephanie started out by going out and sitting in the audience and singing that a cappella. Oh, how do they say it? How the cool kids say OMG. That was amazing. And she set the bar pretty high right there for the rest of her show. And when she did that one, I was amazed at that entertainment power she had. And Glenn said he never heard of me until Don't Tell Steve introduced us. There you go. Well, thank you for that, Glenn. And you likewise. Definitely. What else we got? Cricket's on here. Hi, Cricket. How are you? I'll get your comment up there for people to see. I'm going to have to not read for a minute. But I want to talk about Stephanie again for just a minute. At the end of her show, every show, she will get out there and sing What's Going On. And, everybody in the audience is singing along with that song and got their hands in the air and this and that. And she visits every damn table in the bar. What a selling point for her and her band to make people come back. Shaking hands, thanking them for being part of the show. And because without that audience, she wouldn't be doing what she's doing. And she knows how to work a room. And at the end of that night, there's this standing ovation that happens. And it's unbelievable. And just absolutely killer. And I love Stephanie and Don't Tell Steve. I make it a point anytime they're going to be close to try to go see them. And if they're far away, if I can go see them, I will. I can work it out, because they're that kind of band. And I think they're at the Monkey Bar this weekend. We'll announce it on Thursday, guys, but I think they're going to be back at the Monkey Bar down in Mainville. So if you want to check them out, there's Stephanie making a comment. Let's see what she is. Stephanie, I love you. You know that. And I did tell Mrs. Hall around town. She laughed when I told her your comment the other night on the mic was that you told her if she ever gave up on me, you were waiting in line, but don't tell Steve. I thought that was funny. You know what? It was a great time. But yeah, and Stephanie, you are blessed with golden voice and with wonderful, wonderful entertainment values and quality. You really truly love your audience, and I think that's awesome. And you don't have fans either. You have family. It's a family affair when they come to see Stephanie, because she remembers you if you've been there before and that kind of thing. Wendy Gullett, thank you. Yeah, it was so much fun. And I love doing that. And I don't know if Stephanie's on the bill yet on October 2nd at Bell and the Bear or not. I have no idea at this point. Stephanie's been limiting her singing still to a little bit at a time. So that's where it's at. And yeah, I didn't know it's more than a 10-minute song, but when she started the last song of the night at 11:15, which 11's the sound curfew down there, I figured it was going to take a while, and it did, but she worked everybody there in the room. And let me throw Rooster Fry's comment up there. So guys, that was my musical weekend. If you had a great musical weekend, please drop it in the comments on our post on our page. It's pinned to the top. If you can do that, please do. And let us know who you got to see, and give the venue a shout out. These venues need recognition. They're the ones that pay the money for the bands, and you're the ones that go in and pay the money to support the bands by buying product and all the things that go on in whatever establishment you visit. And that's the cool part about live local music, guys. I appreciate all your comments about why you go out and see local music. If you're watching after the fact today and you're checking out the show and you've watched it and stuck with it through its entirety, I'm going to ask you again. Please tell us why you go see local music and what it does for you. Music soothes the soul. It does. It does. Hollywood, one of the greatest supporters of live local music you'll ever find right there, Mr. Hollywood from down at Pullman Lanes, Scott's Bar and Grill. I highly suggest that one as well. Got a beautiful outdoor stage and a wonderful indoor stage in the wintertime. You want to check it out. Thank you, Stephen Bell, for a great night. And I realized when I posted my pictures today, I neglected to get our normal picture of you at the soundboard. But, I love you still. I do. And Hollywood trucker hats rock. They do. Nothing better than a Hollywood trucker hat. There's one behind me somewhere. Where's it at? Oh, yeah. Disco Fever. It's up there. That's mine. It is. And Stephen Bell says, I do. I hate you. But see, I'm secretly trying to move in on Stephanie. That's what's happening. Yes. And yeah, I read that as trucker hats, not turker hats, but it could have said something really bad. Ed Sawicki, I was giving you a big shout out earlier. Thank you for the great pictures from Thursday night there at the Bell. I was not able to make that second anniversary, but I lived through your pictures, man. And thank you for that so much. All right, guys, we're checking out. We've been on here way too long today, and we'll be back. I am going to take tomorrow off. If you're looking for Top 5 Tuesday, they are the memorial service and visitation for our good friend Jim Martin that we mentioned last week that died 101 years old. World War II hero is tomorrow, and I'm going to attend that before I have to make it to trivia at 7:00. So we're going to suspend programming tomorrow, and we'll be back with you sometime on Wednesday. We'll try to get with you with whatever Wednesday. So thank you all so much. Don't forget to tune in on Thursday. Who's Playing Out, brought to you by Froggy's in Monroe. Until then, guys, get out and support live local music and the bands and venues that bring it to you. I'm Scott Hall, your host. We'll see you next time.